Imagine a food so important that entire civilizations cultivated it for thousands of years. Ancient farmers stored it alongside their most valuable crops. Physicians wrote about it. Healers relied on it. Philosophers debated it. Yet today, most people rarely think about it. What's even more surprising is that this humble bean contains a naturally occurring compound that modern scientists would later discover has a remarkable relationship with one of the brain's most important chemical messengers. That compound is now isolated, studied, and used in modern medicine. So why did the original source fade from everyday life? How did a crop once valued across continents become little more than a forgotten staple? To answer that question, we need to travel back nearly 10,000 years, long before laboratories, pharmacies, or even written history. Because hidden inside this ancient bean is a story connecting early agriculture, traditional knowledge, and modern neuroscience. And the deeper we look, the more fascinating it becomes. The story begins in the Near East, nearly 10,000 years ago. Archaeologists studying some of the world's earliest farming communities have uncovered preserved fava bean seeds stored inside ancient settlements. These weren't wild plants gathered by chance. They were deliberately cultivated, protected, and saved for future harvests. That tells us something important. In a world where survival depended on choosing the right crops, early farmers considered fava beans worth preserving. Over time, the beans spread across the ancient world. In Egypt, it became a dependable source of food along the fertile Nile. Archaeologists have found evidence of beans in tombs and burial sites, suggesting they carried cultural significance beyond simple nutrition. The Greeks developed a particularly unusual relationship with the plant. Philosophers discussed it, religious traditions incorporated it into rituals, and some schools of thought even placed restrictions on its use. The famous philosopher Pythagoras is often associated with mysterious rules concerning beans, though historians still debate the exact reasons. The Romans later embraced the crop as well. Throughout the Roman world, fava beans appeared in everyday meals, seasonal festivals, and agricultural traditions. Physicians wrote about foods believed to support strength and vitality, and beans often featured prominently in those discussions. What's remarkable is that these civilizations were separated by geography, language, and culture, yet they repeatedly arrived at the same conclusion. The bean was worth growing, worth preserving, and worth passing down to future generations. For ancient communities, fava beans were never merely another crop. They were practical, reliable, and easy to store. Dried beans could last for long periods, making them especially valuable during harsh seasons or times of scarcity. Families soaked them, cooked them into stews and porridges, and relied on them when fresh foods were limited. Throughout the Mediterranean, the Middle East, and North Africa, traditional uses expanded beyond simple nutrition. Historical records describe preparations made from different parts of the plant, including the leaves, flowers, and pods. Communities incorporated them into local healing traditions, often based on generations of observation and experience. Methods varied widely, but the pattern remained consistent. People repeatedly returned to the same plant. They cultivated it, preserved it, and integrated it into daily life. To modern observers, those traditions might appear simple, but they represent thousands of years of accumulated human experience. The question is whether those ancient observations were noticing something that science would only understand much later. For most of history, the bean's reputation rested entirely on tradition. Then, science entered the story. In 1913, biochemist Marcus Guggenheim isolated a compound from fava beans that would later become one of the most important molecules in neuroscience. The compound was called L-DOPA. At the time, few people understood its significance. Decades later, researchers discovered that L-DOPA serves as a precursor to dopamine, one of the brain's most important chemical messengers. Dopamine helps regulate movement, motivation, learning, attention, and reward. Even more remarkable, scientists found that L-DOPA could cross the blood-brain barrier, allowing the body to convert it into dopamine. The implications were enormous. By the mid-20th century, pharmaceutical researchers were developing purified forms of L-DOPA that would eventually become important tools in treating neurological disorders associated with dopamine deficiency. Suddenly, a bean cultivated for thousands of years was connected to one of the most important discoveries in modern brain science. Naturally, researchers began asking another question: how much L-DOPA actually exists inside the bean itself? Scientists examining fava beans confirmed that they naturally contain L-DOPA, although the amount varies depending on growing conditions, maturity, and plant variety. Researchers also found that people could absorb naturally occurring L-DOPA after consuming prepared fava beans. These findings didn't prove every traditional belief associated with the plant. Ancient healers weren't secretly practicing neuroscience. But the discoveries revealed something fascinating. Generations of people had consistently valued a plant that modern science later found contains a biologically significant compound connected to brain chemistry. And L-DOPA is only part of the story. Fava beans also contain protein, dietary fiber, vitamins, minerals, and numerous naturally occurring plant compounds. Like many traditional foods, their value appears to come from a combination of components, rather than a single ingredient. This may help explain why the bean remained important across so many cultures for so many centuries. It wasn't simply a medicine. It wasn't simply a food. It was both useful and dependable. And those qualities tend to survive the test of time. If fava beans were so valuable, why did they fade from prominence? The answer has less to do with the bean itself and more to do with changing society. During the 20th century, scientific research increasingly focused on isolated compounds rather than whole foods. Once researchers identified L-DOPA and learned how to produce standardized pharmaceutical versions, attention naturally shifted toward medicines that could be measured, manufactured, and distributed on a large scale. Agriculture was changing as well. Traditional farming systems gave way to industrial production, favoring crops that were easy to transport, process, and market globally. Many regional staples gradually disappeared from everyday diets. Cultural perceptions changed too. In some parts of Europe and the Mediterranean, fava beans became associated with poverty and rural life. As incomes rose, many families embraced foods viewed as modern or prestigious instead. Traditional knowledge also declined. For centuries, food preparation methods and farming practices were passed directly from generation to generation. As populations became more urbanized, much of that knowledge became less visible. The bean itself never changed. Humanity's relationship with it did. Despite declining popularity in some regions, fava beans never vanished. Across Egypt, the Mediterranean, North Africa, and the Middle East, they remain deeply woven into local traditions. In Egypt, one of the country's most famous dishes is ful madams, a slow-cooked fava bean preparation enjoyed for centuries. Across Greece, Italy, Spain, and other Mediterranean regions, fava beans continue to appear in soups, stews, purees, and seasonal dishes. Farmers also value the crop for another reason. Its roots interact with soil microorganisms in ways that can improve soil health, making it useful in traditional crop rotation systems. Meanwhile, chefs, agricultural historians, and researchers have renewed interest in heritage foods and traditional crops. Many are revisiting ingredients that sustained communities long before industrial food systems existed. What's striking is that in many cultures, the bean was never considered forgotten. It simply remained part of everyday life, part of family traditions, part of cultural memory. At the beginning of this story, we asked a simple question: how could a food once treasured across civilizations become so easily overlooked? The answer is that it was never truly lost. The fava bean survived in ancient seeds preserved beneath the earth. It survived in traditional recipes passed from generation to generation. It survived in farming communities that continued cultivating it long after the modern world shifted its attention elsewhere. Its story stretches back nearly 10,000 years. From the first agricultural settlements of the Near East to the fields of Egypt, From Greek philosophers to Roman farmers, countless generations recognized value in this humble plant. Modern science has added a new chapter to that story. Researchers have identified naturally occurring L-DOPA within the bean, explored its nutritional properties, and uncovered connections that help explain why it captured human attention for so long. Yet perhaps the most important lesson isn't about chemistry. It's about observation. Ancient people didn't possess microscopes or neuroscience laboratories, but they paid attention. They noticed which foods endured, which crops remained reliable, and which plants earned lasting places in their lives. The fava bean reminds us that wisdom can emerge from centuries of careful observation, just as surely as it can emerge from scientific investigation. Sometimes tradition and science are not opponents. Sometimes they are simply two different paths leading toward the same understanding. And sometimes the most fascinating discoveries are not about what humanity invented. They're about what humanity forgot. If you enjoy exploring forgotten remedies, traditional foods, and the hidden history of natural medicine, subscribe to Nature's Remedy Ledger. Because sometimes the future isn't found in discovering something new. Sometimes it's found in remembering something ancient.